Still recording and it doesn't want to stop. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Niani, if you don't already know. Oh man, wasn't trying to start this way. Literally got forced into start recording. My phone's kind of tripping right now. My little sister did my makeup and I think she did a great job, so shout out to her for that. And this is an Easter edition, if you can't tell by the bunny ears. Thanks for coming back, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button now. So yeah, stay tuned guys. Alrighty, so the first item that I'm going to be working on is my roast beef, and I am just cleaning the meat here. I did use some lemon juice, I used some apple cider, and then just some regular vinegar. And I do apologize, I am driving, so yeah. I did want to poke some holes in the meat just to make sure that that the meat, like the juice really got into it and it was like really clean. So yeah, here I'm just cutting up some fresh herbs that I'm going to be using to cook with the roast beef. And that's a little bit of oregano, there's some bay leaves, some fresh thyme, I use poultry seasoning, a little bit of chili powder, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and I use the pink Himalayan salt as well. Flipped it over, sprayed that bad boy, hit it with the seasoning. Just really making sure that I completely covered it so it's nice and well seasoned. I even tucked a couple pieces of the fresh herbs into just the little folds of meat wherever I did find them. After making sure that it was, you know, well seasoned, coated, had seasoning everywhere, I did go ahead and put this in the oven and I covered it with foil. Alright, so I am working on my cornbread for my dressing. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I love me some Jiffy, so I just kept it simple and went with Jiffy. I could have made it from scratch, but who wants to take those extra steps when you know that you're gonna get good quality cornbread from Jiffy? And it's like very basic, an egg, a third cup of milk, very simple. So yeah, like, call me basic, I don't know, y'all get in the comments and let me know what you think about the Jiffy. Thumbs up or thumbs down if you here for the Jiffy. If not, like, I'm sorry about it. I'll make something from scratch for y'all one day. But you know, sometimes you just got to take shortcuts, because like when you cooking a lot of food and you can shorten some steps and make it a little bit easier for yourself, why not? Why not? So yep, I'm just mixing up the Jiffy very well. I didn't try to make sure I sprayed the pan that I was mixing it in, because I knew I was going to bake it in the bowl that I was mixing mixing it in. So I didn't try to spray it because I knew I was making dressing, and when you're making dressing, you don't have to worry about how perfect it comes out of the pan because you're going to be crumbling it up anyways. So I did put that in the oven, and I just grabbed some strawberries. We're going to save this for the cheesecake later in the video. I did let this marinate overnight. So yeah, I just wanted to get this out of the way so I could let the sugar break down the strawberries and create that strawberry simple syrup that you get when you let it sit. So that's what I'm doing here, just prepping for my little cheesecake. But we'll get to that. Y'all, the container that I have my strawberries in, I got it from the Dollar Tree. And I believe it was a 2-pack or a 3-pack, but it's like for meal prep, clutch. You need to go get you some. Even if you don't use them for meal prep, they're still great for leftover storage or for not literal meal prep, but like when you need to prep in this case for something else. So just great food storage containers, and they were only $1. And literally the same thing, I seen it in Walmart, and it was like I think $5 or something for like 2 or 3 of them, the same amount, like $1 to $5. Like you could spend $5 and get like, come on now. Okay, but yeah, so I am mixing and whisking my pudding mixed for my Easter lasagna. It's a dessert lasagna, basically. We'll get into the layers in a second, but I wanted to prep a little bit by starting off with the pudding, just so when I start to assemble the layers, I have the most important layers already taken care of. You know, working smarter, not harder. I did get 2 different flavor puddings, and I believe it was French vanilla and then like banana pudding, because my sister said I should make banana pudding, and I didn't want to actually make banana pudding, but I did want to incorporate some of the flavors of banana pudding, so that was my way of compromising. So yeah, 2 different flavors. I have golden Oreos, because why be cliche and get regular Oreos? And even if they're off-brand, it's still the same flavor and everything. So yeah, I said Oreos. Y'all clearly didn't see no Oreo label, but that's neither here nor there. We are going to blend these little beautiful golden babies up in the Ninja, which is freaking awesome. It's a great blender. I'll be doing a lot more recipes with this baby. Yeah, blended it up without any problem. I didn't add anything extra. I left the, like the inside has the cream filling or whatever you want to call it. I left that in there and just blended it. Didn't want to add anything additional because it's going to have a nice moist crumble when you leave in the center, instead of just taking it out and doing just cookies. It will be more like a graham cracker if you took out the center filling part. So yeah, I wouldn't mind to be a little bit moist and just have a better consistency overall. So yes, blended up the whole pack. It was great. Again, you guys, I am driving, so I do apologize for any if I did the French vanilla or the banana pudding layer first. So yeah, because like they were very close in color. So it's kind of, I forgot, honestly, by the time I was done blending up those knockoff Oreos. I did want to add in some fresh banana because, like I said, I wanted to incorporate some of the banana pudding flavors and elements as well. So just adding fresh bananas just made sense. And plus, these were super ripe, y'all, so I had to use them because I didn't want them to go bad. One of them was like overly ripe, but y'all see what I'm going to do with that little thing because we're not going to let it go to waste. On top of the pudding. Trying to make sure we completely cover it. Y'all, I let my Cool Whip sit outside. Sit out of the refrigerator at room temperature for too long, and it was like kind of on the watery side, and I wanted it to be just a tad bit more firm, but you know, nonetheless it still turned out delicious. But I was just like, I should have let this sit in the refrigerator the entire time instead of trying to let it come to room temperature because I left it out for too long. So don't do that, y'all. So I am going in with the second layer of golden knockoffs. That's what we're gonna call them. Golden second layer of golden knockoffs on the Easter lasagna. And then we're gonna go in with the next layer of pudding, and again, I don't remember which is which, and I just obviously end up mixing them together anyways. So yeah. And as you can see, like I said, the banana was already overly ripe. So I didn't have to do much mashing to get it to blend into the consistency that the pudding has. So yeah, that was just no problem. But I think that was a really nice addition, even if it wasn't like intentional, because you know, it was an additional natural flavor booster, and this turned out pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I tore it up. So I'm just making sure that I completely cover my lasagna, and we are back with some strawberries. Original knockoffs, so I had to grab the blender and blend my knockoff Oreos, which was really quick, and I really didn't need that many because I still had some leftover golden knockoffs. So yeah, I just mixed it together. It was real cute. It was perfect because it was the top layer, so I feel like the fact that it was mixed together gave it a little bit more depth. too long, so they were watery. So I'm kind of off camera stirring it before I just completely pour it on there. Make sure it's very, very well covered. You don't want to leave. Really, I say go for using the whole container like I did, so you can just get a good even layer. Especially depending on like the size of your container and how big you're trying to make it. Because this was only for me and my sister, so the 2 containers per the 2 layers were like great. Even though I was alone with most of it, but that's neither here nor there. These folks in Arizona don't know how to drive, y'all. Making sure it was nice and covered. It is time to decorate this bad boy. And I got my peeps at the dollar store because your girl loves the ball on a budget. And they didn't have like the little bunny ones, they just had the chick ones. I would have got the bunny ones, but it's really not that big of a deal because the peeps are really more for looks than they were for actual eating purposes. So yeah, we are just pushing those little chicks in there, making sure they are sturdy. And I have some jelly beans that I'm going to add, but those are supposed to be like little eggs. So we're just decorating, making it cute. And this is like a great kid-friendly dessert to make. So the cornbread is done, and the next step of the dressing is to work on the onion and celery that goes into the dressing. And as you can see, I have the blender out because we are going to blend these babies just to get them to a nice fine consistency. We don't want big chunks of onion, but if you like onion and you want big chunks, then I say go for it. But yeah, not over here. I did grab a little bit of vegetable stock just to go ahead and make sure it blended nicely. Didn't want to add too much because I didn't want it to be like an onion smoothie, but just enough to make sure it was blendable. Got my celeries. Y'all, I kind of struggled with blending this for a second. I'm not even gonna lie. I should have used the bigger blender for this. The bigger blender cup. Also added a little bit more celery just to make sure my ratio was even, but I kind of like onions. But you see how nicely it did end up blending. So like I said, no need to spray the outside of the cornbread because we're going to crumble it anyways. And y'all can see how hot it is with some of the steam rising off of it. Did have switched to a bigger pan that we will be baking the dressing in. Shredding some smoked turkey that I got at Walmart. I'm shredding it. I did let it kind of boil for a while on the stove just to get it like super duper tender so it will fall off the bone. So, and I did that off camera, so I definitely recommend making sure that your meat is nice and tender, because like it literally just came right off of the bone when it was time for me to put it in the dressing. Now I'm just kind of tearing it into small pieces just to make sure it's enough to evenly distribute throughout the entire dressing. I could have put this in the blender, but I didn't really see that as being necessary. So now it's time to make sure we work in this turkey, but make sure it's evenly distributed, because I don't want it to be where you cut into one piece of the dressing and it's like nothing but just celery and onion, and the other side is completely filled with turkey meat. So, gotta make sure it's evenly distributed. You know we gotta season that, John. It wouldn't be right if we didn't season it. I see my little sister on camera in the background. That's the one that did my makeup for this video. I didn't have any ground sage or like sage powder or anything, so I did just cut up some fresh sage to put into the dressing. I added poultry seasoning, but I feel like it's always nice to actually add some ground sage too. But again, didn't have any. I had the fresh stuff though. Press that John down, make sure it's nice and flat so it'll bake well. Y'all, reading is so fundamental. I don't think that I can overstate the importance. We do it every day, literally. So this is a pretty basic seafood mix. It has imitation crab, clams, mussels, and calamari. I'm kind of just going through it a little bit, and I am gonna try to cut those imitation crab chunks into smaller chunks. So I am working on shrimp, and if you are squeamish, I definitely recommend you fast forwarding just because it is kind of on the gross side. And this is full shrimp with the head and everything, so I have to twist the head off, clean it out, and clean it from the rooty to the tooty because I don't want to eat the bottom of whatever's on the ocean, because that's what shrimp eat. They're bottom feeders. They can eat dead whale flesh for all we know. I don't want to eat that. So yeah, make sure you clean it very well. If you want to eat all the extra fun stuff, then I say more power to you. But yeah, not me. So my nana had this little device. I don't even know what this thing is called, but it worked great. Whatever it is, I don't even know what it's called, but yeah, worked like a charm. I put the seafood mix plus the shrimp in there. So after I shredded it a little bit, this is kind of how it turned out. And like I said, it did pretty good. Now, I thought I was recording, not gonna lie, so I apologize. But I did mix it with the cream cheese with the hand mixer. And that is the finished product. I am just seasoning it now. A little bit of salt, the pink Himalayan salt, garlic powder, onion powder, some pepper. I put a little bit of poultry seasoning. Now, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm afraid of fish. That's why I have my dishwashing gloves on underneath my regular gloves.
I'm just not ready for all of this. It's just
splashed back or accidentally touched something on my forearm or anything. I had something to protect me, because if I directly touched the salmon, I would probably pass out and or have a panic attack. So yeah. Don't judge me. I'm gonna need y'all to get in the comments and tell me what y'all think about that. But yeah, your girl is afraid of fish, like, and this was not easy for me to cook. Like, that's why I had to get the spatula just to flip it over, because I felt very uncomfortable directly touching the skin, even though I had on 3 pairs of gloves. Like, yeah, that's how bad it is. It's a childhood fear, but don't judge me, y'all. And y'all see my sister came and was touching it because she was gonna be the person eating it. And when I was cutting it, I noticed that like some scales was coming off, and I was like, is this normal? Why am I seeing scales, bro? What's going on? So since she's the little scientist in the family, I had to ask her what was going on, because I really do not cook fish. And you say she don't have no problem touching it, but I refuse. I almost cursed y'all. I refuse. Child, I was nervous just trying to cut the thing. I was getting in my own head, really, but yeah, just for real, I'm gonna need y'all to get in the comments, and please comment and let me know what y'all think about this. So after letting the fish sit in a lemon juice mixture, I'm seasoning it, and I did mostly get it cut, but y'all see what I mean. And now I am going with my stuffing and just going right in between the salmon with it. So we're about to make a nice stuffed salmon sandwich. Just kidding, it's not gonna be a sandwich, but y'all know what I mean. So you see, just tried to flip it over, make it real easy on myself so I could have my stuffed salmon, but there was too much stuffing left out on the side, so I had to turn it sideways just to kind of make sure it completely fit. So the bigger piece is on the bottom and the smaller piece is on the top. And initially I just was gonna fry it, but I decided to actually freeze it, so when I did fry it, it could be just like one good solid piece. But y'all, I kind of let it thaw out for too long because I was trying to multitask. So you'll see what I mean in a second. Y'all notice I had a lot of leftovers, like seafood stuffing, and I ended up mixing it with those breadcrumbs that are sitting right on top of it, and I made it into some little patties for my little sister, and she said that they was bomb. So breadcrumbs here with a little bit of gluten-free flour, and if you see the salmon off to the side, you can see the water underneath it because, like I said, I did freeze it, so that's the water from it thawing out. I am seasoning my flour and breadcrumb mixture just because it's always good to season that stuff. So I went ahead and gave the salmon a egg wash first and made sure it was nice and covered to the best of my ability. And you see some of this dip falling off of the end of it. I didn't know if I was going to leave it or just let it stay off, so I tried to put some back, but y'all see it kind of wanted to just do what it wanted to do. But again, one piece was bigger than the other, so the way it was overlapping, it kind of made sense. So I just kind of tried to work with it to the best of my abilities. Y'all, the camera fell over, like fell all the way over. Had to come up out of the glove. I was proud of myself for picking it up and holding it because I felt like I was picking up a fish and holding a fish, even though it's completely covered in breadcrumbs. So I have a baking dish that I sprayed with some olive oil baking spray ahead of time, and I just popped that bad boy into the oven uncovered. So for the sweet potatoes, all I did to cook them was wrap them up in foil individually, and I put them in the oven at about 400 degrees, and I let them cook in that foil for about 45 minutes. And once they were nice and soft, I just took them out. I was gonna make some traditional yams and slice them up, but I was like, I don't feel like doing all of this extra work, and also it's just me and my sister, so I'm not even about to do all the extras. Like, she'll be all right, I'll be all right, it's gonna taste great, and that's all that matters. So I am kind of just mixing it up and mashing it, even though it's already soft, so it's already kind of mashed. I'm just, I don't know, mixing it. I didn't flavor those sweet potatoes at all. I literally just put them in the oven with the foil. So in a little mug here, I have some butter, some cinnamon, and some sugar that I am melting little by little, just to get, and a little bit of brown sugar as well, just to get a good mixture going for my sweet potatoes. So I went right on top of the sweet potatoes with this mixture, and I am going to be mixing it in just to get that delicious candy yam flavor. I could have let it just stay right on top, but I really wanted to mix it all in and make sure it was very well incorporated so you got the flavor in every bite. Alrighty, so we are on to our next dessert, and this dessert is going to be a red velvet brownie cheesecake swirl. And like I said before with the Jiffy, sometimes I like to cheat. I don't always feel like making stuff from scratch, and there's nothing wrong with taking a couple shortcuts when you're cooking, especially when you're trying to get everything done in a timely manner. So I do have a package of brownie mix that I got, and I did follow the instructions as far as the measurements for the ingredients, which was about 1/3 cup of oil and 1 egg. And then I did add some red food coloring just to give it the red velvet color. More and more red the more I mix it. I thought it was a little bit dark, so I did want to add just a smidge more. I had to add in, I believe, a tablespoon of water. Nope, sorry, 2 tablespoons of water. More red food coloring just so it's really red. Red velvet brownie batter, y'all. Very, very easy. So now that we have our brownie batter mix done, we are going to focus on the cheesecake mix. Alrighty, so with the hand mixer or maybe even a fork, just go ahead and mix your cream cheese up a little bit, and I totally recommend using a bigger bowl. I don't know why I use this small container, but I digress. Gonna add an egg in there. some vanilla extract, and some sugar. And I just eyeballed the sugar. I wasn't exactly following a recipe on this one. So with your hand mixer, go ahead and give that a good little mix. Make sure everything's very well incorporated. And I am going to apologize to you guys because I thought I filmed when I put this in the pan, and I thought I was recording the whole time, and I wasn't. And I was very, very salty about it because I think I did a great job. So I might have to recreate this and just show you guys when I put it in the pan. But that's only if I get enough comments or requests for like that specific video or recipe. So this is how it turned out once it was all mixed together. I did go ahead and put a layer of the red velvet brownie mix at the bottom and then just dolloped in the cream cheese little by little. So now we are going to start working on our cheesecake, and you have to start with the crust, and the crust starts with graham crackers. The recipe that I looked at, most recipes give you measurements in grams, and if you have like a food scale, then you can measure it out. If you don't, then you can always go by the cup measurements. But since I have a food scale, I decided to just weigh it out and see how many, because I thought it was like 270 grams, and it was like way less. It was literally like 170, and I was like, girl. So that's why I had to take some out. But once I had the correct measurements, I did go ahead and work on crunching it up for my cheesecake. So now that we have the proper measurements, like I said, we got to crunch this baby up. So as you guys can see, I busted out my Nana's handy dandy device with the name that we don't know. And I tried to do the graham crackers in this bad boy. And let's just say I wasted my time doing this. It was a bit of an epic fail. And I should have just got the blender out. Like, I don't even know why I wasted my time fooling with this thing, because it was not working very well with these thick graham crackers. And then the graham crackers kind of started spilling out a little bit. And then I struggled trying to get the top off. Like, just a hot mess, child. A hot mess. So, as you can see, I busted the blender out because I was not about to continue to mess with that device, whatever its name is. And y'all see how quickly this ninja just pummels this into like a nice fine grain that is proper cheesecake crust consistency. So we're gonna add in the rest of those graham crackers and give it a quick blend. I should have started with this one because yeah. So we are going to add in a couple tablespoons of sugar for our graham cracker crust mix. And in the microwave, I am melting some butter. So we could go ahead and mix that. And right now I'm just mixing the sugar and the graham crackers to make sure that it's well incorporated. So I have to grab the butter, and I did add a little bit more sugar just because I'm customizing this cheesecake to my own personal liking. And once it's nice and well mixed and it kind of looks a little bit more crumbly, you're going to go ahead and start patting down that crust and making sure you get a nice flat surface. So that's what I'm working on now. Making sure it's nice and flat and even too. That's just as important. now it's time for the main ingredient in the cheesecake, the cream cheese. So depending on how many people you're trying to feed or maybe make this for, it would, determine how many packets of cream cheese you would need. Again, because this was for just me and my sister, 2 was fine. And the bowl that I was baking it in was big enough for the 2 of us. It was honestly big enough for more than 2 people, but did nobody ask y'all all that. So with our handy dandy hand mixer, we are going to start mixing up our cream cheese just to get a nice smooth consistency. Whip it up a little bit, but we don't want to overmix it because then we will incorporate too much air, and you don't want to incorporate too much air into it because then it just won't be the right texture and consistency, and you'll have a weird cheesecake with lots of air bubbles that won't bake properly, and it probably might crack. So yeah, don't overmix it. So we're gonna add in some sugar. Make sure it's well mixed. And just make sure you scrape the sides so everything is, like I said, very well mixed. And the recipe called for 1 cup of sugar, and I added it in 1/2 cup increments. Y'all see how thick it got once I started adding the sugar? It was yummy, but real thick. So now we are going to add in our sour cream. And make sure all of your ingredients for your cheesecake are at room temperature. That's something you do want to be at room temperature. So we are going to be adding in our vanilla extract, and I believe it was a teaspoon or so. It was 1.5 teaspoons. So I added 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and I just mixed it in with the vanilla extract, make sure everything was very well incorporated. The last ingredient to add to the cheesecake is the eggs, and I did this wrong. I was supposed to add them 1 at a time, but instead I added them both at the same time. So I recommend making sure you do it 1 at a time and give it a quick whisk, either in a separate bowl or right in the bowl you're mixing it with, and make sure it's well incorporated before you add the next one. I personally think that it was fine after this, and I could have left it alone. I think I overmixed it because there's definitely some air bubbles in there that you can see towards the end. And even when I took the cheesecake out of the oven, there was a big air bubble in the middle of it. So just be careful of overmixing. All right, it is time to put this cheesecake in the baking dish with that crust we made, and it looks great. Honestly, it tasted just as good as it looks, truth be told. And I did put it in the oven at about 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes. The exact specs will be in the description box. About to pop her in there. Look how pretty this cheesecake is, y'all. And remember those strawberries we cut up? It's time. It's time. They sat long enough. Yeah. Delicious. So delicious. I could have made it more pretty, but it was just me and my sister, so it tasted good. That's all that really matters. So this is my final spread, y'all. Thanks for watching this video and sticking it out with me. Everything was delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video just as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you can know every time I post. I am sorry that this upload came so late, but I appreciate you guys' support. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Oh yeah, I didn't even say it, but happy Easter and Resurrection Sunday, y'all. Like,